Hi guys, so let's just do a recap of this week's lesson, yeah? So if you remember, on Thursday, we looked at sequences and we looked at the nth term. So I'm just going to do an example of question just to help you recap on it, okay? So we are given a sequence. Okay, let's say I have a sequence. Okay, and so on. So if you look at the sequence, you will know that from 1 to 5 and 5 to 9, I'm adding 4. Okay, so the sequence is you add 4. So if I want to know the next number and so on and so forth, I just add 4, add 4, add 4, add 4. Okay, but the problem is sequences can go really long, and sometimes what if I want to know the 60th term? Takkan I want to go and write all the 60 numbers? No. Correct? If it were multiples, let's say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and I wanted to know the 40th term, then fine, I can do 40 times 2. But this is not any multiple. This is just plus 4. So, how do I go about it? So I can use a formula. So if you remember, there was a formula. This. Okay, this is the general formula. So to find, this T stands for term. Okay, so if we want to find the first term, the second term, the third term, or the 100th term, I can use this formula to find out. But this formula is a general formula. Okay, and each sequence, okay, will be represented by a certain formula, because all sequences are not the same one. They have different sequences, but this is the general formula. So for this particular sequence, I want to find out what formula it is. So how to find out? I just plug in some numbers, okay? For any term, n is maybe 100th term, 200th term, that is n. So for any term for this sequence, I can use this formula. What formula? A is always the first term. A is 1. Okay? Now, I don't put n as anything because it's going to be a nth formula, nth term. Okay? So for 100th term, 200th term, I want to come up with a formula first. Okay, so I use this as my guide. Now D is plus 4. Okay? So now I solve this 1 plus, now 4. 4 times n is 4n. 4 and negative 1 is negative 4. So 4n, and then 1 minus 4 is minus 3. So for this particular sequence, to find any nth term, I use this formula. Okay? So which means, let's say I want the 20th term of the sequence. So that means my n will be 20. And so I put n as 20. So 4 times 20 is 80. 80 minus 3 is 77. If I want to find the 50th term, then it's 4 and 50 minus 3. 4 times 50 is 200. 200 minus 3 is 197. Okay, so when I'm given a sequence, I need a general formula. I need the nth term. So the question asks you, what is the nth term? They are asking for this. How to find this? Okay, nth term means your formula must have an n lah. So I don't I don't disturb the n here. I just put my A and my D, and I'll get the formula. Then no matter what term I ask you, whether the 60th term, the 75th term, I just use this formula. So this is how I get my nth term, and then this is the 20th term. Okay, that means my n is 20, and this is the 50th term. Okay, so this is how I do this, and this is called, if you remember, this is called arithmetic progression. Okay, it involves plus. It can also go in, it can be a decreasing sequence as well. Okay, and remember, decreasing sequence means this will not be positive this won't be a positive, it will be a negative, which means my D here will be a negative. Okay, so that is all for this week, and I'll see you all in class next week. Bye!